Revos here. Okay. So, part two. Part two. This is just gonna be about the end game. It's gonna be talking about the end game and whatever else is left in this video. And I'll give my overall analysis. Then I'm just gonna digest this. We talk about what's on the last half of this video. I don't think I ever really made it to the end game of Path of Exile. Mainly because time sink. It was a time sink, and there were other games I wanted to play, and you had to go through each 3 levels just to make it to where the true end game was. So I do know people who really went in and they got the editor and they could make their own floors. I never was one of those people who got there, and I wish I did. I hope they give you so much content, and each season it's so different from the next season. Hopefully this is something I can get to enjoy this time around. I don't know. Let's see what they got.
Talk about that now. So far, we've only been showing you footage from the campaign, but some people would argue that the end game is where the game truly begins.
Yeah.
Something that happens almost every time a new action RPG launches is people saying there isn't enough in-game content. Well, we want to make sure that in POE 2 people don't feel that way, and we actually only changed our development priority for this recently. The first 3 acts of POE 2 already take around 25 hours to complete if you're a new player. This is already a pretty significant campaign. On the other hand, people spend hundreds of hours in endgame each league. We realized that finishing the rest of the campaign for early access was actually a bad idea. Instead of having acts 4 to 6 in early access, we could concentrate on endgame and make that great. For new players, a 25-hour campaign is already a huge game with lots of content. But for existing action RPG players, what you mostly care about is all the endgame challenges to overcome. So several months ago, we switched the entire development team's focus over to making endgame content. At the start of early access, there will be 50 bosses and around 400 monsters.
It sounds low.
But the great thing is that the rest of the game is like 80% there. We'll be adding content to roughly double the size of the game during early access and into release. Now, in order to make the endgame happen at the same character level as what it would be after we added the rest of the acts, we've added a second difficulty level called Cruel, where you repeat the campaign with all the monsters and bosses leveled up. And of course, new rewards. You can kind of think of it as like a new game plus. It's also a lot faster to get through the content the second time as your clear speed increases.
Yeah, could you?
That will take you to around level 65, where the endgame begins. Once we add the remaining 3 acts, we'll be removing Cruel difficulty, so you'll progress straight from the end of Act 6 to endgame. But what is the endgame? To explain that, I'll hand over to Mark. He can tell you all about it.
Hi, I'm Mark Roberts, Game Director on Path of Exile 2. Well, one thing that Path of Exile is known for is having a lot of distinct in-game content to choose between.
Yep.
Each in-game mechanic needs to have its own progression system, areas, bosses, rewards, and player power that can only be gained from that content. We're going to be adding a lot more over time, but for Path of Exile 2 we decided to start with 7 distinct systems you can progress through. This is the Atlas, and it serves as the core of the endgame for Path of Exile 2. It's infinite and expands in all directions. Now, we are not going to spoil the plot too much here, but corruption from the beast has blighted the land, and your objective is to help fight it. In the center of the Atlas you will find the Ziggurat, a temple in which the Vaal research the fundamentals of space and time. Here...
Remember when I was, previous video I was talking about overloading people with, talent trees? Why does this board look like talent trees, but for stages?
We can open portals to nearby locations and begin cleansing corruption and finding resources. In order to power the portal device, we will need waystones. Each waystone has a tier which will determine the level of the monsters that you will face. To go to an area, simply click one that is adjacent to an area that you have already completed. Insert the waystone and click Traverse. Portals will open, allowing you and your party to travel to the area you have selected. All the areas in the endgame feel distinct from the locations in the campaign, and we have dialed the randomization up to 11. The monster packs you will face in each map are totally random, and the combination of them can lead to some very interesting combat situations. There are over 400 monster types in early access, and they have a lot of varied and interesting abilities.
How is this possible?
Depending on which combinations you face, you might find some serious challenges. In order to cleanse the corruption from the area, you will need to defeat all the powerful rare and unique enemies in it. Once you have done that, the area will be marked as completed and you will be able to travel past it to progress deeper into the world. If you die, then the map can no longer be run, and you will have to find another way around to get to the areas behind it. There are also all kinds of other random encounters you might run into as you play maps. One such encounter are precursor artifacts. These are ancient, corrupting monuments that irradiate the monsters around them. The monsters that feed off the corruption are drawn to their power. If you defeat the monsters and cleanse the artifact, you will get a powerful temporary buff. Some of the buffs make you faster, others rain lightning or fire around you, and some even give you increased experience or help you find better items. You can also find strong boxes. These enigmatic chests guard piles of treasure, but are always a trap. Monsters lie in wait to attack you the moment you open it, and the boxes often have mechanisms to unleash powerful spells or dangerous debuffs. There are different types of strong boxes containing different items, and you can even use your currency items to craft them on the fly, so you can optimize the contents. But be careful of opening one you can't handle.
Yeah, that happened to me before. The monsters came out and just killed me.
Sometimes you'll discover monsters frozen in essences, solidified crystalline corruption. These dangerous monsters can be broken free. If you defeat them, the essence they drop can be used to upgrade normal items to magic items with a guaranteed mod from a category. For example, we could use this one on some boots to ensure a movement speed mod. Rarely, essences will also drop that allow you to upgrade magics to rares, adding the guaranteed mod. This is incredibly powerful since it allows you to get a second deterministic mod in your crafting projects. Combining these with the currencies that are commonly found at Rayclass for modifying items, and we can get a very nice pair of boots indeed. Waystones, like all items, can also be crafted using your currency items. Adding prefix mods will improve the rewards, while suffix mods increase danger. The more dangerous a map is, the more waystones will drop. Adding mods to your waystones is key to progressing to higher tiers and sustaining them.
Oh boy. One thing Path of Exile has done is they've mastered the art of randomness, of the randomization of the content. So you could do the same thing, get a completely different experience. Because you add in the stones to increase the difficulty, increase the mob density, to increase how much stuff you get. But the thing is, you know what I might do? I might do a video from when I went, because there's people like Zizran and stuff who, if you don't know Zizran is, I think I'm pretty sure he has a YouTube channel. Who master in Path of Exile. But maybe we could talk about stuff, to help people, as this game can be overwhelming if you just look at it and at its core, and you hear this stuff. There's a lot of people, when you hear this stuff and you talk to them too long about how to do this stuff, they just start zoning out. It'd be like that picture of the lady who's seeing all this random math problems, and they're just like, "This is too much. I can't play this game. I don't know what to do." And I really think this. I grew up playing games like this. Baldur's Gate was originally like this. I had a game called Champions of Norath, which was like this. I love these type of dungeon crawler type games, and I do hope maybe we could do a video too, just to help people get an explanation of how this stuff works, because it does seem like a lot. I was lucky to have somebody walk me into it. They kind of abandoned me, but that's a different story. But they gave me enough to where I could get the grasp of they gave me enough to where I could get the grasp of what to do and go forward and how it works. And for some people, doing this is very tedious. Like for a nanosecond, I'm a person when I'm focusing, I stop talking. Sucks for streams, especially kids in my face. Like if I'm really locked in, I just shut down. I shut up. So this whole batch, I'm not saying anything. I'm like really focused on what he's saying and doing it in my head. But for some people, this is like what, and this is locked off, and so yeah, that's something you probably could do is go over the details, um, of this and maybe help people understand this from one noob to another.
But it will require you to take on larger challenges. There are a variety of factors you have to consider when crafting your waystones. Some maps will have higher density, some lower, some have more magic and rare chests, or monsters, some are more linear, and others more open. Make sure you explore and think about what makes certain maps good if you want to maximize your returns. As you cleanse corruption from higher and higher tiers of the Atlas, you will gain points that you can spend in the Atlas tree. This tree allows you to juice the danger and rewards of all areas in the endgame. You could increase the number of monsters, the number of rares, the number of precursor artifacts or strongboxes, even the quantity of item drops. As you explore the endgame world map, you'll notice various different biomes, from snow-capped mountains to dense jungle valleys. Most maps are restricted to certain biomes. As you continue to explore deeper into the Atlas, there are all sorts of things to discover. These cities are constructed by different peoples of raid class, and have specific items that can be found there. These strange structures marked on the map don't appear to do anything for now. Perhaps you'll work out how to use them later. You might find unique maps like Untainted Paradise, an undisturbed island full of beasts that give an extreme amount of experience. You may even find a lonely man just enjoying his retirement who will give you a unique item for free. In addition, you can find special areas that would make a good spot to set up camp. Clear these areas of their hostile inhabitants, and you'll be able to claim them as your own hideout. You can decorate your hideout as you see fit, and invite various NPCs to join you there to create your own personal base of operations.
What? Wait, that was in Path of Exile 1, I
A
believe.
great tool for exploration are towers. These mysterious precursor constructs are dotted around the Atlas. Completing the tower will reveal a large area around it, allowing you to scout out your next challenge. There are lots of things to find, so keep looking. Some sections of your Atlas are influenced by corruption. This adds extra modifiers to the maps in the region, increasing difficulty and rewards. Here, slaying monsters in close proximity to each other will cause the vestiges of corruption within them to merge together, forming powerful and grotesque abominations. You may have noticed while looking at the Atlas that some of the areas have these icons above them. The icon indicates that the area contains some kind of special encounter. This icon indicates that the area has a powerful boss. Because only 1 in 4 maps contain a map boss, we are able to make them very powerful and very rewarding. These bosses come from the campaign, but have had their difficulty increased with changes to AI and some of their abilities. It's worth noting that because you can see where the bosses are, you can choose to take them on or avoid them. If you do choose to hunt bosses though, then you will be rewarded with special points for the boss hunting section of the Atlas skill tree. The points here will allow you to specialize in boss killing, giving you much greater rewards for defeating them.
What?
Each different type of content in the endgame, we are
Yeah, okay.
Then you will be rewarded with special points for the boss hunting section of the Atlas skill tree. The points here will allow you to specialize in boss killing, giving you much greater rewards for defeating.
That is crazy. I'm watching, but I'm more so listening, so I didn't even notice he got the modification where he shoots 3 instead of 1. So I'm seeing him shooting, but my brain is thinking 1 because of the damn gas. So I'm like, okay, yeah. And then when all the explosions happen, I'm like, what just happened here?
Each different type of content in the endgame, we are adding specialized trees in order to make it so you don't feel the need to respec your points when you change between different types of content. We will be showing you 7 of these by the end of this presentation, so there is still a lot more to come. Bosses are not the only icon you will see on the Atlas. Let's take a look at one of the endgame systems, Breach. If you played POE 1, you might be familiar with Breach. For POE 2, we have created sequels to several POE 1 leagues. While the mechanic is familiar, the monsters, bosses, rewards, and progression are all new. A breach is a tear in the fabric of reality. Opening it will allow you to see the demons and otherworldly monstrosities that lie in wait on this other plane of existence. By engaging with a breach, you'll create a bridge between their world and Rayclast. In order to keep the breach open, you will need to kill the demons that pour forth. The faster you can kill the monsters, the more monsters you will fight, and the more loot you will find. You can also find clasped hands that will open and drop more items if you run over them. These can be a good boost to the rewards of the breach.
I remember Breach gameplay, but it wasn't this far expanding. So they definitely took that and enhanced it.
So keep an eye out. One of the rewards that you may find while fighting monsters from Breach are tablets.
Have monk fight style.
Tablets are special items that can be used with precursor towers to add more encounters to the Atlas. Breaches will drop breach tablets. Clicking on a completed tower will allow you to consume the tablet to add more breaches to areas within range of the tower. This makes all the content in the Atlas self-sustaining. Want to do more breaches? Find the tablets, add them to your towers, get more breaches, getting more tablets. Soon your Atlas will be covered in otherworldly domains. In addition, like all items in PoE, you can craft them. Use your currency to add mods to your tablets, allowing you to upgrade all the breaches in range. Tablets can have up to 2 mods. These mods do things like adding extra rare monsters, extra clasped hands, or even monster density of breaches, allowing you to keep them open longer. Often you will find multiple towers near to each other with overlapping areas of effect. This can allow you to really juice the mechanic by stacking the mods from multiple tablets.
Like Lord of the
In
Rings.
your fight to hold the
The
breach
9
demons at
towers.
bay, you may want to use the powers of their world against them. Each in-game mechanic always has player power that can only be gained from that mechanic, and Breach is no different. In Breach you will find catalysts, items that can increase the quality of rings and amulets by improving specific mobs. You can also find Breach Rings, a special base type that can have its quality improved by catalysts up to 50%. In this case, you could create a ring with around 170 life. Breach Rings can become some of the strongest rings in the game, giving you some good motivation to face the demon hordes. In addition, each in-game mechanic needs to have a pinnacle in-game encounter. While killing Breach monsters, you may find Breach Splinters. Collect enough of these and you'll be able to create a Breach Stone. Using a Vaal technology called the Realm Gate, you can use your Breach Stone to access their domain and bring the fight to them. In this twisted domain, you will find nothing but a single massive breach. Triggering it will reveal hordes of breach inhabitants. And should you be fast enough, you will be able to fight their leader, Zesht. We that are one.
We that dreamed. We in nightmare. We that are one. Fate relies truth.
It is us, Edgy.
This is just one of the pinnacle encounters of PoE 2. We won't be showing the rest of them, so you will have to discover them for yourself. But rest assured, this is some of the hardest content we have ever made. All of these encounters have specific
Master
uniques
Hand
that
about
can
to
only
fuck
be
you.
found from them. But that's not all. We still have the progression
Woo!
system. Defeating Zesht will give you points to allocate into the breach section of the Atlas tree. Allocating these points will make breaches and the breach domain even harder, but will give you more rewards. The small nodes will increase the difficulty of the twisted domain, while the large nodes have more specific bonuses.
So you can stack your difficulty on your difficulty to get an extra side of difficulty. So it's just you just use key. You're constantly pushing your character to the limit to see, and it's how strong is your build, and you just gotta hope his body can take it, he or she.
For example, this node adds more clasped hands to your breaches, and adds a pack of magic monsters that can guard them. Get some more points and you can allocate Waking Nightmare, which will double the number of splinters you get from clasped hands, and inflict you with a mysterious debuff. In order to earn more points, you will need to defeat Zesht at a higher difficulty, and some rewards from Zesht can only be found by increasing the difficulty of the Twisted Domain above certain thresholds. Defeating Zesht at difficulty 4 will be a challenge indeed, but there are many more threats and breakpoints.
Was that a one shot?
Zesht at a higher difficulty, and some rewards from Zesht can only be found by increasing the
That was a
difficulty of the Twisted
one-shot.
Domain above certain thresholds. Defeating Zesht at difficulty 4 will be a challenge indeed, but there are many more threats in Breaklast. Ritual altars are sacrificial sites built by the mysterious King in the Mists. If you encounter this symbol on the atlas, then you know that the area contains ritual altars. Ritual altars demand tribute. Every monster you slaughter in the circle will feed the altar. After the sacrifice, touch it to begin the ritual. The monsters you just killed will be resurrected by the King of the Mist's dark magic, and you must fight to survive. The tribute you have offered to the altar can be spent to buy powerful items, but they can be expensive. To gain more tribute, you will want to find more altars. Each successive ritual you do within an area will spawn the monster.
I do see a lot of these things feed itself, so you got to do more to get more to do more, like with the Atlas thing and now with the rituals. So you have several paths of strengthening your character. So like Breach will most likely just be, depending for the most part, wave clearing of mobs. Because I do remember it'll probably still be a thing with this. With Path of Exile, there was this thing where I gotta say this. It's with Diablo too. It's with certain builds. Some builds are good at clearing mobs. Some builds are good at clearing bosses. They're boss killers. So this could really, if my understanding of this is correct, this could really put it to where you could really play to your strengths. If you got a build that specializes in boss killing, you might want to go the boss killing route with the Atlas. If you got a build that is more focused on wave clearing and getting to the boards faster, you might go the breach route or the ritual route, if my understanding is correct. That is very interesting because, of course, either way you're going to struggle once you, especially through the story. Whichever way you choose, you're going to be a little bit slow in one area, but this can really like flesh out, or maybe you could do it where you could flesh out the weaknesses of those, or you can really play to those strengths while still gaining agency over your power level. How your character strengthened, I should say. Okay.
Is revived by the previous ones, in addition to the ones you sacrifice next to it. By the end of an area, you'll be fighting a truly imposing number of foes, but will have a significant amount of tribute to spend. One of the rewards you can buy with tribute are omens. These are special items that allow for meta crafting. Crafting items that affect other crafting items. Have an item with good prefixes but bad suffixes? This omen will help you to remove the mod you don't want, while keeping the ones you do. There are a bunch more of these with different effects, but we will leave them for you to discover. Now don't forget that Ritual will also drop tablets, which can be used to specialize into getting more rituals. If you want to get to the pinnacle boss of Ritual, then you will probably want to use them. They can also be crafted to grant mods, making your rituals more rewarding. The pinnacle encounter of Ritual is the King in the Mists. Feared by the Asmeri people, he is said to have brought eternal darkness to the Wildwood. We won't show the encounter, but just like Breach, there are a range of unique items you can get for defeating him, and you will gain points in the ritual section of the Atlas tree. Some maps have been touched by insanity. A mysterious entity has taken a special interest in you. Step through the looking glass and you will find your nightmares coming to life. When you touch a mirror, the mists of Delirium will spread out across the area, infecting your mind. You must stay with
Delirium was also a season. I'm like 85% sure of that.
than the mist to maintain the nightmare, which is as profitable as it is terrifying. Everything you kill will increase the rewards that drop. However, the deeper into the mist you travel, the stronger the monsters are. Be careful not to overstay your welcome. Rare and unique enemies will become vessels for terrifying demons, who will manifest out of them to unleash powerful attacks on you. The mist also offers a strange crafting material, distilled emotions. By combining these emotions, you are able to instill your amulet with a notable from the passive skill tree. This is like gaining an extra passive point for free, attached to your gear. They are also particularly great because you don't have to traverse the tree to get them, allowing you to get off.
I'm starting to realize they have they basically done is I could be wrong, but they basically combined 2 or 3 of their strongest seasons and made it in-game content, which is very interesting and daring. I mean, that's crazy. It's smart, but that's an undertaking. Because I remember Delirium being one. I remember the red dude and the content, the map creator thing being one. I never got to any of this, but I know people who are like really in the Path of Exile. So they, whenever I would talk to them, they would let me know, and I would see some of the gameplay of it. Yeah. Okay. And now that they're really stepping up, and they have this boom, and they got this they have a lot more attention on them because in the circles it was kind of said that Path of Exile was better than Diablo 3, and that what was Diablo going to do to respond to Path of Exile 2? These two are going head to head, and so what they did while they had 11 years of Path of Exile 1 is they took their greatest hits and they remixed it for a part of the end game of Path of Exile 2. That is crazy.
Off-class bonuses that would normally be much harder to get. Distilled emotions can also be used to instill your endgame maps, applying Delirium to them and adding additional difficulty and rewards, allowing you to further juice your endgame maps. The tablets you can find from Delirium can be used to further improve it, increase pack size, make the fog dissipate slower, or improve your progress towards the pinnacle encounter of Delirium. Speaking of which, every now and then you will find simulacrum splinters. The mysterious entity will create strange encounters based on warped versions of your own memories. Monsters and simulacrums come in waves that get progressively more difficult. You will receive loot at the end of each wave, and you will have to make the decision to leave now or continue on, facing up against even tougher foes from the mist. The bosses you will face as you get deeper into a simulacrum are truly terrifying. If you can complete a simulacrum, you will gain points for the Delirium section of the Atlas skill tree.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Expedition.
My God,
occasionally while clearing corruption.
This game is going to become some people's lives. Like, you have so many options for endgame.
You will encounter these Kalguran settlers.
People are like, I can't play this. I want a game with a definitive end.
The Kalgurans have discovered ancient burial sites with lost Verisium artifacts, and they want you to help dig them up with explosives. The Kalgurans have marked the locations where the relics can be found. Place explosives as best you can to dig up as many as possible. There is just one problem. Corruption has brought the corpses of their ancestors to life, so you might have to do a little cleanup before you can reclaim the artifacts. You can also find remnants, the destruction of which will further anger the restless dead. Each one you blow up will make the subsequent monsters more powerful, but also more rewarding. Danig, Rog, Tujin, and Gwenin will exchange the artifacts for useful items and runic magic. You can also find tablets to increase the number of expeditions and the rewards. This one increases the radius of explosives, while this one increases the number of remnants you will find. Eventually, you might discover a logbook. These are special maps full of buried treasure and relics. Essentially, one giant dig site. Here, you can create an extremely long chain of explosives and go through a very high number of remnants. But be careful, many remnants have mods that can really brick your build, so you will probably want to avoid these ones. If you add too many remnants, you could easily make the encounter harder than you can handle. There are all sorts of interesting things buried under the ground in logbooks. You might find dripping caves and hidden pirate caches, but the most powerful encounter is Olroth, the ancient undead commander of the Knights of the Sun. Defeating him will grant you unique rewards, as well as points to spend in the expedition section of the Atlas tree. So those are the in-game systems on the Atlas, but we are not done yet. The trials we talked
Like scary movie. But wait! There's more! Oh my god. Oh man.
about earlier have much more content when you get to Endgame 2. Just like the other
Endgame
in-game
2.
systems,
Okay.
they also have progression mechanics, unique rewards, and player power that can only be gained from them. As you get higher level coins for the Trial of the Sycamores, you will unlock more floors to explore. Each floor has its own challenging rooms, and a floor boss that you will need to kill. There are 4 floors in total, leading to another pinnacle boss at the end of the last floor, which can only be accessed at endgame. The Trial of the Sycamores is where you'll find jewels, which you can socket into your tree. These are like passives that you can craft with your currency items. They can be really powerful as they allow you to stack modifiers that may not be easily accessible on the tree normally. This jewel gives lightning damage and shock chance, for example. There are quite a few jewel sockets on the tree, so it's possible to gain a lot of power here.
This is excellent.
There are also other types of jewels that don't provide any bonuses themselves, but affect other passives surrounding them. This jewel increases the effect of small nodes in radius by 25%. With careful placement in the tree, you could get a significant amount of power from it. There are also unique jewels available with very interesting effects, but you will have to find those for yourself. In order to push further into the trial and uncover the secrets of the Maraketh, you will want to take advantage of its progression system, relics. Relics are items that can be placed in the relic altar as you start the trial. They give special bonuses that affect the trial, making it easier and increasing its rewards. Of course, you can craft these with your currency items, making them even stronger. If you can complete the entire trial overcoming all 4 floors, the final boss will reward you with one of many unique relics. These relics will be consumed when used on your next run, but can reward you with unique and powerful items. For example, this is the Last Flame. If you use it, you will have only 1 honor for the entire trial, so you will need to do a completely hitless run.
What?
The Trial of Chaos also extends into the endgame. As you gain ultimatums of higher and higher levels, the number of chambers that you can go through increases. In true Val style, this allows you to take even more risks for even more rewards. At endgame, you can progress through up to 10 chambers with 3 bosses on a single run. Stacking 10 tribulations on top of each other will make this a significant challenge, but it's worth it. The Trial Master will tempt you with items of the Val Empire, such as Val Orbs. Val Orbs are powerful crafting items that corrupt your gear with random, mysterious outcomes. Corruption prevents an item from being modified further, so it has to be the last step of your craft. But it's also the most impactful one. For example, if you use one on your body armor, it might add a new powerful enchantment, or it might re-roll up to half of its modifiers. Val Orbs also have the ability to add a socket, allowing you to bypass the normal restriction of how many sockets an item can have. A body armor could get up to 3 sockets this way, allowing for a significant number of mods.
I used to have 4.
Val Orbs can even modify uniques. Adding enchantments or sockets to uniques can make them incredibly powerful, but there is a good chance that you will break them as well. The Trial Master will also occasionally offer you soul cores. Originally formed by Chaos, the Val sought to replicate soul cores through human sacrifice rituals and blood magic to power their civilization. Soul cores are powerful socketable items, with mods that cannot be obtained from regular runes. Like all endgame content, there is of course a pinnacle boss. The final chamber will drop keys to this mysterious door. Some say this is where the Trial Master himself resides. Perhaps you are willing to take the risk to find out.
I mean, it's gonna try not to die.
Because there is still just one more thing. The most difficult content in Path of Exile 2. While mapping, you might come across this fortress that has emerged from underground, surrounded by an enormous maze riddled with danger. Is the maze preventing something from getting in, or something getting out? This fortress is of ancient origin, and its construction has similarities to the towers and tablets that you have been using on your journey through the endgame. It is clear from the entrance that there are 3 keys required to enter. Local factions are vying for access to the fortress in order to seize the power they believe will be inside. Each of the faction's leaders have managed to get their hands on one of the keys, so you will need to defeat them. Each faction is led by an Uber Act boss. You can see one of them inhabiting the city. but in order to fight him, you will first need to defeat their 2 lieutenants in the adjacent zones. Be careful. If you fail against either of the lieutenants, or to kill the leader, they will move on, and you will need to find them again. Kill all the Uber bosses and you will gain access to the fortress. We aren't going to spoil it, as we can't wait to see you guys attempt it for the first time. But is there a tree you get points in after killing it? Of course there is. This is Path of Exile. There is always another tree.
So these are your challenges for PoE 2. As you can see, this project is crazy huge. Way bigger than even we expected when we started out. But how do you gain access? Well, during early access you'll need a key to get in. To thank our existing PoE supporters who have spent more than $480, we'll be giving you guys a key for the PC version for free. Anyone else who wants one can get one by purchasing one of the new early access supporter packs that have just been released to the store. If you just want early access to PoE 2, then you can get a key in the $30 early access pack. The pack also comes with $30 of points to spend in the MTX store. But we also have a variety of other supporter packs filled with exclusive microtransactions, points to spend in the store, and even physical items. The cosmetics can be used right now in PoE 1 and in Path of Exile 2 when early access starts. Most of this footage has been recorded in Path of Exile 1, since that's where you can use them immediately. The Lord of Ogham supporter pack contains a cosmetic armor set befitting of the Count of Ogham himself. There is also a matching back attachment which has an alternate variant depicting the influence of corruption. Also in this pack you can find a portal formed of the rusted armor of the fallen soldiers in the Red Vale of Ogham, and the offspring of a vicious crowbell boss found in the hunting grounds. This one doesn't look so vicious though.
Mommy! Yeah!
On top of that, you'll receive the Iron Count's Zweihander to apply to your one-handed or two-handed swords. For those who are wanting to
That looks like a variation of Soul Edge. If you know, you know.
decorate your hideouts with fond memories and tales of Path of Exile's history, you will also get a series of hideout statues. This pack contains the statue of Hill.
I stabbed himself.
For Path of Exile 1's closed beta, each pack contained a true New Zealand icon, the Kiwi. Following this tradition, all packs in this series will also contain a new themed Kiwi pet. The pet will loyally follow you into battle, but run away at the first sign of trouble. Become the ruler of the desert with the king of the Faradin support pack.
I'm out.
Show your mastery of traversing the sands of the Vasteri Plains. The body armor will allow you to glide along the ground with ancient sand magic. Now each armor set comes with body armor, boots, gloves, and helmet, but the boots are covered in sand. If you'd prefer to show them off, you can turn the gliding off if you want.
No, I
The
like it better when
accompanying
you're
back
gliding.
attachment equips you with two powerful pillars that can control and manipulate lightning. They will periodically release their energy in a powerful blast while in town, and hover in a circle around you, arcing lightning between them, forming a barrier of energy. Replace the appearance of any bow with the Faradin's Glory skin. Or replace the appearance of a spear with the Tyranny's End spear skin.
That is a man's head. What is your legs are made out of arms. What have you done?
This spear skin can be applied to staves and war staves in Path of Exile 1. If you want to truly show your worth as a king of the Faradin, then you definitely need your trusty, moving, entire city fortress known as the Dreadnought to travel across the Vasteri Plains.
Really?
In Path of Exile, you can decorate your hideout however you like, and it's no exception here. It comes with a variety of thematic elements to use, or use decorations from elsewhere in the game. Additionally, you will get the Deshret's Blessing level up effect.
That need to kill
King of
people
the
when that
Faradin
happens.
Kiwi pet. And last but not least, a statue depicting the Vile Oversoul from Path of Exile 1. For those who don't know how supporter packs work, each pack comes with all of the cosmetics from the previous tier, so you'll get all the items from the Lord of Ogham supporter pack as well. The Thaumaturge of the Vile supporter pack features an armor set and back attachment.
Oh my god. Can you just imagine all this stuff here in this endgame? And they're going to add more. They always add more. Path of Exile's been out 11 years. So they're just going to pile on. Although maybe they'll actually divvy and do seasons, but you're going to have people like, son, I started playing Path of Exile too. You were just seeding in my nutsack. Now, you a grown man. I'm finally going into this pinnacle boss. still my journey in life. Every moment of my life led to this moment. Like the amount of stuff you can do in this game. Like this is not just a game. They're trying to make this an experience. Like this is a like for a lot of people. Warcraft. I played Warcraft when I was a teenager. I know people who got married, had kids, taught they played Warcraft with their kids, had their families grow up playing Warcraft. Now they playing what they like. It sounds crazy, but Path of Exile lasted 11 years. Think about it. 11 years. Meanwhile, throughout those 11 years, beating up on working I think it came out around the time of Diablo 2. Where did we get female Diablo? Those three. I think it came out it came out after 2. It came out 3, and people are favoring that now over still favoring kind of 1 over 4. People knew this was going to be a problem when this came out. And they kept pushing it back, and people were concerned, and people were worried. Oh, why are they pushing this back? What's going on? Oh, that's not a good sign. No, they were just stuffing every single season from part 1 and refining it to make it an in-game content for part 2. Their best seasons, because I know Delirium was one of the more loved seasons for sure. And I know Val was I liked Val personally. That's one I did play a good chunk of. Again, I never got to the end game. I was able to ascend on Val through the Ascension trial for, ironically, the minion pet build. But well, let me finish this video.
Themed around the Val and their pursuit of science and progress. You can find the Soul Core weapon effect in this pack, which causes thaumaturgic energy harnessed from sacrifice to spill from your weapon. This pack also contains Doryani's Idol. It replaces the default appearance of any foci to an ancient relic once used by Doryani, and this can be applied to shields in Path of Exile 1. That's not the only Val weapon you'll find. It also contains the Wand of the Thaumaturge skin, and the Royal Sacrifice Dagger skin. You wouldn't think to put sacrificial gems on a Kiwi, but the Val did. Thaumaturge of the Val supporters will receive the Thaumaturge of the Val Kiwi pet, and the Statue of Dominus. This is also the first pack in the series with a physical item. When purchasing this pack, you'll receive a Path of Exile 2 logo t-shirt, but if you don't want one, you can opt out and return for additional points to spend in the store. Becoming a Warlord of the Karui supporter will grant you an armor set and back attachment, adorned in jade carvings and iridescent feathers resembling power. Enough to even impress the ancestral gods, specifically Tukohama, the Karui god of war.
Caribbean vibe Hulk. Oh my god!
Overkill, you say? I think the Karui people would disagree. Why not drop a gigantic totem on rare enemies you slay to crush them to a pulp? Replace your crafting bench in your hideout with the Ancestral Canoe crafting bench, where
they make buying their cosmetics worth it.
A giant canoe manned by Karui warriors to aid in your crafting desires.
We must all start somewhere.
You'll also get a pair of weapon skins. Equip Akoya's Felling Axe skin to your one-hand or two-handed axes, or Tukohama's Crusher to your one-handed or two-handed maces. A true Karui warlord is always accompanied by their trusty Kiwi. Equipped with armor and harnessing ancestral magic, they make the perfect sidekick.
Y'all got hit with gamma
Once one of the most
radiation.
feared beings in Rayclast, Malachi was slain by a powerful exile. May the statue commemorate the virtue of exiles past, present, and of the future. Of course, it's not all about dressing up in game. You'll want to look good in real life too. By becoming a Warlord of the Karui supporter, you'll also get a Path of Exile 2 hoodie. Our final tier of supporter pack in this series is the Liberator of Rayclast supporter pack.
I would love if they could have a samurai build. I don't know why that looks like that would be a samurai build, like how they hold the sword.
The Liberator of Rayclast armor set and back attachment come made with the finest materials in Rayclast, and shattered glass mosaics suspended in divine power. Set up your base of operations in the Beacon of Salvation hideout. Why restrict yourself to just one island when you can liberate more? The
look like
Beacon of
Act
Salvation
3's
hideout comes equipped with
location.
your own collection of small islands and personal operators of boats that you can use to row between them. Just walk to the piers, click a boat to enter, and navigate as you choose. Decorate each island as you see fit to best represent your well-earned hideout.
What?
Everyone in your hideout can use their own boat. Why not have some races?
What?
You can also get the Window to Twilight portal effect. A beautiful mosaic
Nobody
piece of
does
art that shatters
cosmetics
and
like
reveals a gateway to your
the
desired
grinding gears,
destination as
man.
you approach it. As you walk away, the glass magically reforms back to its original form. Rule and style with the Throne of the Ruler map device. Sure, this map device can create portals to in-game maps, but it also comes with a throne you can sit on to oversee your growing kingdom. Look down on the plebeians running your maps. Being the Liberator, though, is not just about sitting on your throne all day. If you do decide to join the fight yourself, you can leave a High Priest in charge as your second in command.
Bruh.
Liberator of Ray class supporters will also get a set of varied weapon skins. The Light of Divinity Scepter skin, the Deliverance crossbow skin, the Justice flail skin, and the Redemption shield skin.
God.
Once again, you'll have an accompanying Kiwi, and of course a statue depicting one of the most iconic events in Ray class's history. The battle between a powerful exile and Kitava, the Insatiable. With the help of two deities, Sin and Innocence, the exile was able to defeat him once and for all. This support
That looks
pack
like he
also
impaled
contains the
both
Path
of
of
them.
Exile 2 art book. This 215-page full-color art book includes a huge amount of amazing concept art and lore produced during the long and exciting journey of Path
The
of
witch
Exile
always
2's
like she
development.
was 12 years old. I'm like an
And
adult
finally,
witch.
Path of Exile has a tradition of letting the community participate in designing game features. For Path of Exile 2, we'll be adding the Twilight Order foil reliquary. By becoming a Liberator of Ray class supporter, once Path of Exile 2 is released, you will be able to select any unique item you have found and be able to drop it from the reliquary. Once players have submitted their items, keys to the reliquary will start dropping, and other players will be able to find foil versions of uniques that you have submitted, along with a message for the lucky player.
What?
The more players submit the same unique, the more chances there will be for the reliquary to drop them, so choose wisely.
What?
Now, almost all of these items are available to use in POE 1 right now. There are a few exceptions where the item class clearly doesn't exist, such as crossbows or flails. And there are also a few microtransactions on weapon types that are unavailable in POE 2 at the start of early access. Once classes that use those weapon types are added, those microtransactions will be available to use. If you can't decide which supporter pack to choose yet, you can always start with the early access supporter pack that just includes a key and some points to spend in the store. Then you can upgrade to any of the following tiers at a later date. These supporter packs will be available for purchase throughout early access. We'd really like to thank you for your ongoing support. Without you guys, Path of Exile 2 could not have happened. Now, I'm sure you guys have a lot of questions. Stick around, because coming up next, we have a live Q&A with
How long is
CED.
the Q&A? Oh no, that's it. That's it. Okay. I'm like, I don't see how you have space and time for a Q&A. My God. Talk about dropping the mic. Talk about putting the hammer down. Sheesh. I don't. Oh. Man. I don't see how Diablo. It looks nice. Let me say this: Diablo 4 looked good when it came out, and then you played it. It got dry. The story. The one thing Diablo had was a better story. The story for Path of Exile 1, it got better the more that they built on the game and the more that they added to the game. And so I'm not even expecting Diablo to have that edge. The cinematic we saw extremely good. It can, I don't see Diablo withstand this. I don't, a storm's coming, man. This is a lot of content. This is crazy. People was like, this game felt like this game was never coming out because they pushed it back so many times. I believe it was actually supposed to drop this summer. And then at one point they were saying winter, which December is winter, but it was more so lean to 2025. and then it was supposed to come out, and then they pushed it back. That was the reason why I played Veilguard, because I was actually trying to save a space to for something, because I was expecting Path of Exile to come out, and it got pushed back. And Veilguard stream has been, personal stuff in life and things like internet is really hampering with that stream, and I believe we're about done with that, but that's a different story. My overall thoughts, I'm gonna watch this again off screen. Maybe come up with the things I'm excited for the most. But if you play this game, you have content. You have, ain't no a lack of in-game content. You have about 4 to 5 different ways that you could play this game in the end to get whatever you desire out of your character. And the craziest part about that, as I was saying earlier, they took their best seasons and put it and brought it over to 2 and migrated and used that as content. And that's like a lot of people think every time they come out with a new game, everything in the game has to be new, right? That's not the case. Bring back what people love. And they worked on this, and now they've made it, each one is their own zone now, or own region on the Atlas skill tree for you to work on. You can get a little bit of this or a little bit of that, or you can really hone in on what you think would be best for your build. And they're going to be, I could really see them owning the dungeon crawling space. This is, I want to play it. It's going to be so much. Oh, this is I'm not one of those people who can just zerg through the map. I check like every nook and cranny, and I remember when I used to play with somebody, they would just be zooming through the map, and I'm like, how the hell you do this? They're like, oh well, I've done this, so many times. I'm like, I want to make sure I don't miss nothing. But this looks amazing. It looks amazing, and it's a frighteningly good amount of content that they're front loading, and they're going to add 3 more acts down the line and 3 more classes. And each class is going to get another ascension tree, so each one's going to have 3 different ways you can ascend. Man. Yeah, I remember that. Oh my goodness. People. Leave. I'm speechless. Like, well, I've said a lot, but I might watch this Q&A part. I might do that. I mean, I'll probably do that off stream, but my God. Wow. Leave a like. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think of this. Are you going to be the one to take this on? And Path of Exile heads, I can see this eating off Diablo's plate for sure. This is going to steal some people from Diablo who's just going to look at that and they're like, oh, what's that over there? That looks fun. I want to try it, but I love Blizzard and I love Diablo and I'm so loyal, and they're going to be cheap. So, man, I can't. People hit the like button, hit the subscribe. This is Revo, so I'm speechless. I can't even do that. I'm just out. I'm out. Man.